Three, two, one. I don't even know if my mic caught that.
I don't think mine caught it either.
This might be a problem. Oh no.
I've never seen my the circle light up whenever I clap.
Me neither. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Like, did you hear that?
I didn't. That's the thing. It's so weird. It has just not ever been a thing. This might be a problem.
I don't think it has.
This might be unironically the biggest problem with Key Radio live recordings from now on. This might unironically be the thing we have to troubleshoot. The fucking clap not being caught up.
I'm literally clapping right next to the microphone. Like, as
I can't
loud
hear
as I
anything.
can.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't hear. Hang on. Let me try on my end.
So weird. Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. I'll just have to clap extra loudly then.
Yes. You pick up the slap, but don't worry.
God.
Don't worry,
that's the weirdest problem. Yeah, but honestly, I'd take that over an actual problem. I think we can deal with that.
Don't worry, I always make sure to do it anyway, even if I've never been sure.
Excellent, excellent. All right, I guess we can start. Hello and welcome to Key Radio Offline. I'm doing this for the first time because I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know if this is gonna be sent. Maybe it will be if it's funny enough. Who knows? This might just be a thing that we keep in the files. But I'm here with Scout, and we're teaching or learning how to do Key Radio Live on our own.
Yes, hello everyone. If you're hearing this, enjoy this half hour, who knows how long, of complete filler silliness.
I completely expect this to just be heard by the mod team, but who knows, if it's funny enough, we might edit it out as like a blooper thing.
Or if we just get desperate enough to fill up the channel while we're panicking, trying to figure things out.
We're just that lazy to make new content. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, so this is a test recording, and the interesting thing about this test recording is that I don't actually know what we're doing. Scout has specifically said that they've come up with an idea, and I was like, and he was like, do you want to keep this a surprise? I'm like, well, if that's an option, that sounds more fun, so I have no idea what we're doing today.
I mean, it's not a huge deal, it's more just how much on the spot you want to be put. But, okay, here's the silly idea and sort of introduction to the possible theme of Season 5 of KRL that we may or may not go with. So, obviously, we all have key girls that we rep.
Yes.
To varying degrees.
Yes, okay, the unironic potential most controversial part about being a key is you have to stand for your waifu. Yeah. This is, I mean, is that even just a key thing? I'm pretty sure that's just an anime fan thing.
Well, we're just, I'm just setting things up, obviously.
Oh boy.
And of course you've got Yumeimi and others for yourself. Yeah. I've got Nanase and others for myself, and...
You do. They're both blue, too.
We've both got, I think everyone can get kind of comfortable in just, thinking what their favorites are, but the idea I wanted to bring up today is we are each going to pick 3 key girls to rep, and before you say Yumeimi, let me explain. We're going to pick...
Only three.
3 key girls to rep with the... But within this situation, this theoretical situation, whoever we rep is going to get a direct boost to their popularity. By choosing to rep them, people will pay more attention to them or rethink their opinion or just, stuff like that. By repping them, we are going to directly affect their popularity. And now the question is, out of all the key girls we love, which 3 do you think you need to help the most?
Oh, this is a fun topic. I actually like this. I do actually like this. Oh, this changes things significantly.
When I thought of this, I was like, oh, this this can be kind of chaos, but this sounds fun.
This is very fun. You just came up with a really good idea. Oh crap! Now I actually have to think about this. There's so many key heroines.
And now you see how it ties into the idea I brought up. Thinking
yes.
on things we're kind of comfortable with from a new perspective. And also why keeping it a secret was an option, because then now I've really put you on the spot.
You have, and I like that you have. Well,
if you need time to think, I think it'd be best if we alternate, but I can go first.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably best to alternate so I can get a bit of time to think. I have an idea on who I want to pick first, but let's hear your thoughts on the waifu wars. I mean, popularity wars. I mean...
it's a war no matter who we mention today.
Yep, this is true.
And, you know, in that case, I may as well start out with a bang. My first choice will be Kanata.
Kanata. Oh boy, that is indeed a choice!
I mean, of course, picking anyone from Little Busters is like... It could almost be redundant.
That's like, the hardest list of them all.
Because, like, even with Mio, who's kind of ignored compared to the rest of the, you know, Little Busters, she's got plenty of fans. We both know that.
Us. We are literally Mio fans.
Yeah, so... I wouldn't say it's fair that she needs that kind of attention, but Kanata is easily the most divisive of them all. For understandable reasons.
For very understandable reasons. I can also agree with that.
But as you've seen from the time we talked about her just a few months ago, I am quite a passionate fan of hers, and I do think that while it's understandable that a lot of people don't like her, I do feel like a lot of it does come from a bit of kind of early judging.
Yeah. I mean...
Like, her route isn't loved by most
not.
people, of course, and that doesn't help, but still, like, I feel like a lot of people just dislike her based on the initial reactions from Haruka route to the point that they kind of missed the point of that route in the first place.
I mean, there is also a case where, for Kanata specifically, it can be something that's very traumatic depending on the individual. Obviously, that's something that factors heavily into anyone's
I'm not
enjoyment.
saying it's not understandable at all, even
yeah,
without
absolutely.
that. I totally get it, but it can also just be hard to get past first impressions.
Definitely, yeah. I can.
She makes some very powerful.
Yeah, I
ones.
fully agree with that. Like, here's the thing: I will defend every little Buster to my dying breath. This is my favorite cast without question. But at the same time, it's like when, like, for instance, one of our previous hosts, Hypa, talked about how they have issues with Kanata in the initial route. I don't really have a direct defense for that. I'm like, it is kind of messed up. It is intended, and I agree with their. I also agree with their opinion that both of the siblings, they need a bit of therapy on both sides.
A lot of it.
Just a bit of it.
So, you know, obviously, even in this situation when I rep her, it probably wouldn't do a ton compared to some, but I do think there is a lot of value in just trying to keep a cooler head looking through all the routes involving her, and just like seeing who she is past the first impressions and what she does to make up for it. Like, there's just, like, honestly, the Kanata redemption was one of, like, the strongest just parts of Little Busters as a story to me. Just seeing, going from Haruka route to seeing her lovely friendship with Kood. And then just all the sweet moments in her own route is just... It had me so invested in a way I didn't even quite expect, even when I tried to stay neutral on her within Haruka's route.
Kanata definitely is a character where, depending on where you are in the story, there's such a huge change on how you view them. Because, like, everyone everyone dislikes Kanata when they first meet her. Like that's very much you're designed to. But man, the things that they pull out like with her in the narrative and the perspective change, and I feel like that's a huge like theme that Haruka Root is meant to push, is it really depends on your perspective. It changes such a big side of these characters and the way you see them. And yeah, Kanata is a very complex character, and I feel like both of the siblings are some of like Little Buster's most well-written characters, but they are very heavy, and that's just the big caveat that comes with them. Is like if you have like a lot of naturally heavy subjects like this, if you have like personal issues with them, and I guess there's also something that would like affect Kanata's popularity. Like if she's gotten more popular, she's also going to get a lot of people who cannot forgive her because of her. The things that she does is very difficult to accept for some individuals. While it is the theme of the story to focus on forgiveness and to focus on accepting the multiple perspectives in the world, it's never really a case of black and white. It's a very gray topic, and it depends on a lot of factors. So that's something that will definitely for real like take a big impact, and I think that was a very good choice to start off with, because man,
Yeah. Because, like, even if she's not unpopular by herself, she is the one character that I think would absolutely benefit from the most, just, like, rethinkings.
Yeah.
Like, on people's. Like, especially since you have to go out of your way to see a lot of her better side. Like, you have to find those moments with her and Coot, and you have to read the route that may not even be in the version of the VN you're reading, or not even direct, or it's an OVA in the anime. It's not easy.
Definitely,
so, but, like, just going over all of it with a cooler head and with hindsight, I do think it could help a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, again, to bring up one of our previous hosts, Hypa, they had a lot of character development on their end with Kanata as well. And more reflection will naturally lead to some people getting to at least appreciate her character and understand where she's coming with. And I do think Kanata deserves a lot of that. Like, I think she's a fantastic character in her own right that deserves a lot more appreciation because she's got her own struggles. And personally, for me, I've also always been a big fan of her route. Like, even though her route's not the most popular and definitely not the most well-written in Little Busters, I do like it. I enjoyed it. I especially liked the anime interpretation of it. That was a really good arc of the anime, and I'm very happy with that one too.
And of course, we know my opinion after, like, the 2 hours or so of me just passionately defending it.
Gosh bless. All right, yeah, I think that's one good option to start off with, and I think I've managed to decide on the first girl I'm repping, and this is probably not one that you definitely won't expect, and I don't think a lot of people will be expecting, because when I looked at like the key heroine list that I made like back in the day, I'm like, what is the one key heroine that I think deserves a lot more love than I get? And when I saw them, I was like, actually, yeah, this is the first one I do have to mention. I don't think you know them yet, and I think a lot of people don't know them. So the first choice I'm gonna have, and this isn't technically key, but you know how much I love those tactics games. You know how much I love them. The first one, I'm the biggest one fan on the planet, man. But yeah, the first one is not actually from one. I'm going to be rapping Amasawa Ikumi from Moon, the main protagonist and main heroine at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is probably the character that deserves the most attention, in my opinion. And this is also like the biggest thing, because the huge big red caveat star is that when you are talking about a Moon character, you are talking about a game that is so hard to get into.
Yeah, when we're talking about spicy actions, like, I thought Kanata was the furthest we were gonna go,
Yeah,
but
no, I am actually going as deep as we can into the bucket because this is quite a literal, not safe for work game that you should definitely not be playing if you're anything on like under teenage years. And they say 18 plus, but let's be real, most of the people who, most people don't listen to that label, even though they probably should.
don't worry, guys. Moon Book Club never.
The Moon Book Club would be. I kind of want one if they ever do like a Safe for Work remake, but at the same time, I'm like, how would a Safe for Work Moon happen? Never.
Very careful, like. I could almost imagine it, but they'd have to tiptoe stuff around.
It'd have
like,
to change
a lot.
way too much, yeah.
Or just leave a lot of it to implication and, like,
Yeah.
metaphor.
Yeah. I forget, have you actually read Moon on your own, or have you just read my,
I
discussion?
unfortunately did.
Mhm.
I don't regret it, but I
Okay,
wasn't
so
quite...
you know.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
You didn't. So you didn't know about what Moon.
I barely knew anything about the premise. I just knew it was gonna be like slightly darker than usual. And
Oh my
slightly
god!
was an
So you had
understatement.
my experience. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Because if you didn't know, back in the day, like when I was like at peak of my key fandom, I did exactly what you did. I saw Moon, I was like, you know what? I love Jun Maeda, I love Ki, I might as well give this a shot. And those 2 nights with that visual novel, pretty much traumatized me in a good way, but it still traumatized me. So after that, the only thing I could do was scream at the night sky, and make a video on that, which I did. And that video,
a somewhat famous video, apparently.
Apparently a very famous video, and that video is what introduced me to Lucci and Hypa and a lot of the other people because they saw that video, and it's also what introduced Moon and Tactics to Keyverse. So, and I wasn't even part of Keyverse at the time. I was before that. So that video has reached. That video has changed a lot of things, but I'm very happy with that video. Like, even now, I'm very proud of that video. It is one of my proudest videos to date, and if you're interested, you can check it out. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
The big caveat is that Moon is not safe for work. You know this, we know this, and you don't read it without like a parental figure to cry on the shoulder on afterwards. But I genuinely think I got so off track with that, so I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I liked learning the history, the deep lore.
The deepest lore of Keyverse, yeah. But I think like one of the most underrated characters, not even in just like Key, but like in visual novel history, is just Ikumi. Like, she is everything good about a key heroine and a key protagonist rolled into one in their own unique package that is unlike any other. And as traumatic as Moon is, I think one of the best parts about it is that it uses that heavy trauma to enforce a message and theme that is just as powerful in every way, and it only works because of the heaviness of the topic.
Yes, like I have issues with Moon. I'm not as big a fan of it as some people are, even
Understandably.
if I don't completely dismiss it either, like some people understandably do. But Ikumi is definitely like the highest point of it. She is a fascinatingly complex character, and she is like, I would say she's like the highest point of Maeda's writing, like before Air.
I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, like a lot of like thinking, like Ikumi is a one of a kind character, and Maeda often talks about how like he like has like basically inherited the Nakige formula from Hisaya, but I feel like when it comes to writing Ikumi, it's both him and it was both him and Hisaya who worked together to make the story of Moon, and I feel like their contributions have led for a lot of like DNA that has been passed on into a lot of other characters in the future. Like with Moon, you can see a lot of I can see a lot of like Reiki and Tomoya, for instance, in her, and like the seeds that would develop into a lot of Key's best protagonists and best heroines. And the fact that you get all of that in a single package from a game from like the 90s is crazy to me.
Yeah,
Like
90, was it 97 or 98?
I'm pretty sure it was 97 because
Yeah.
or at 96 or 97 it was around that time because I know that Canon is 1999 and 1 was 1 year before Canon. So
Yeah,
that was 1988.
97, the end of 97.
Yeah, okay, so we're right. Yeah, that's crazy. But
Like, I feel like you can tell Maida was, like, more comfortable with writing darker material than Hisaya was.
I would argue both, honestly. Like it's like I can't speak more
Well, in
of
the sense of, like, when you look at his routes in 1 and also in canon, like,
yeah, okay, that
the topics that Mizuka's route goes into, and just the moods of Makoto's routes and Mai's routes. Like, very, very stark compared to what Hisaya did. And I think Hisaya probably had a better grasp on, like, the general, like, formula and atmosphere that Key's works would go into later on, but even if I'm not the biggest fans of them, Maida definitely had his own, like, vision for it that has its own appeal.
Yeah. Like I definitely agree with the fact that Maida and Hisaya really cooked like a very like they had a serious story, but instead of like fetishizing it and making it like really cheap Nukige, they put a lot of love and humanity in these topics. They put like, what if this kind of thing really happened to a person? How would it affect them? And like these, like they acknowledge that these habits are unhealthy, and that these habits are very, very toxic, but they're also flawed because humans are flawed. And I think that's exactly also what makes Ikumi very powerful, is every moment that she confronts that of herself, her ugliest aspects, because everyone has a lot of ugly aspects. Every time she confronts that and she faces that with the ability to stand up afterwards, that's what makes Moon really powerful. Like Ikumi is such a core part to making Moon feel like a keywork, that at the same time it's like she is just one of a kind. She can only exist in Moon, and she's unlike any other character that has gone after her, because Key formed their own identity. They weren't Nukige, they weren't meant to like be fetish, they weren't made like relying on H scenes. But at the same time, it was just she was a character that could only exist in the era that she did in the late 90s, and I feel like that deserves a lot more recognition. Like, yeah, I would say the increase of popularity would just mean the worst part of it is that you have to read Moon. Everything regarding Ikumi, that's great. Like, I don't have any caveats with her. The caveat is that you have to go through Moon for that. So
yeah, there's certainly side effects to that, but
oh, I will never forget those nights. Oh, those cold nights.
Well, technically, there's a quote-unquote safe for work patch for it, courtesy of Based Sep.
Zap my king. Is there anything that man can't do? He's actually a god.
No, actually.
Thank blessed God for him. Anyways, that's my stance on Ikumi. I think she deserves a lot more love, and yeah, now I have to take a bit of time to think about my second one again.
Yeah, that was a good choice. That caught me off guard, like. Especially when you mentioned tactics, I was like, I had an idea there, but...
I mean, we're looking... My favorite one heroine is the one that gets the most love anyways, so I don't really... Well, for one heroine, she's the most popular, so I don't need to come to her rescue, but shout out to Akane. I love you, babe. That is my favorite key heroine, for the record. That, like, I love her.
Ooh, I didn't know absolute favorite. I thought
she
that was
is my
maybe.
favorite. After the rereach, I cemented her as my favorite. In terms of waifu, of course, my favorite is Yumemi, but I don't see Yumemi in that way. I
I
want to
see.
snuggle Akane in bed though. She's fluffy. Anyways, off topic.
Well, that brings us to my second choice, and this is where I'll at least kind of expand on like
hmm
the ideas of what more attention and stuff really means. My second choice will be Minagi from Air.
I had a suspicion that she was gonna be one you were gonna pick.
And my reasoning for this is a bit different than
hmm
with Kanata. She is a pretty well-liked character by herself. She's probably the second most popular heroine in Air besides, of course,
hmm
Misuzu.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of competition.
Yeah. But the reason I arrive at this is because even though she is very popular among those who give her attention, I mean, that's kind of the hook right there. The ones who give her attention.
hmm
Air has this problem, more so among the people who watch the anime, but like even among the people who read the VN, I'd say.
Don't think it,
It
don't say
has a
it, don't think it,
problem
don't say
of
it, don't think it,
people
don't say it.
just kind of smushing like the core of it together, or smushing it together as just Misuzu and her whole story, and kind of disregarding what else happens in it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Air was definitely a story where the main heroine took the center stage, but I feel like it's also wrong to not acknowledge the other two that
There,
were
yeah,
part of the
there's
game.
like, considering you're forced to do her route and Kano's route in the visual
hmm
novel, obviously you gotta pay some attention to them, but it's definitely easy to go through them and just be like, that had no point whatsoever.
hmm
And, regardless of whether or not that's true, which I don't think it is,
Yeah, I don't think it
it's
is
also
either.
just, I think it's just a shame to kind of disregard these other stories and characters
Yes.
when they are very lovely in their own right.
You're not defending her, but I'm already hearing the Kano fans screaming in agreement because Kano has a lot of diehard fans. Not necessarily a lot of fans, but a lot of diehard ones. They're like, she's probably the key underdog, so I could just hear the Kano fans screaming out in agreement,
Yes,
like,
on
yeah,
on
you
this topic,
said,
I will stand with them. Like,
yeah.
even Kano's story, I think, has a lot of moments that I like.
Heck yeah, man.
So
I,
yeah,
I will admit I'm less hot on Kano, but I definitely agree with Minagi. I think she's a super underrated heroine, and I also agree with the stance that as much as Misuzu is like the center stage of Air, like the other heroines do deserve attention. They have their own story. There's a reason they're in the game.
yes,
Uh
and you lose so much, like even regarding
oh, so much.
Yukito, without those stories.
Yeah, Yukito really shines in the Minagi route. I fully agree with that. Like, there's a surprising amount of like relevance he has to Minagi's story that you just don't appreciate, or I feel people don't appreciate much enough.
And I do think just in general, even if it's very long and
hmm
questionably paced, depending on who you ask, Minagi's route and her like whole character story just has so many subtle but like just very powerful moments within them. Like she is, I don't know, she is easily one of my favorite key heroines. Like she's
hmm
still top three, I would say.
Mm. I think that's extremely fair.
And
I
it's one big reason I would say anyone who's only experienced Air through the anime, please read the visual
please read the
novel.
visual. Oh my god, yes,
I
yes.
understand if you haven't, considering how much of a mess it is right now, but hopefully Key will rectify that soon.
Hopefully. I think I have suspicion after Canon, like, it is just a matter of time. Like, if Canon can
I
come home, we're definitely getting Air.
I do like kind of expect it this year. Like I
Well,
wouldn't have
same.
expected it at all, but like after Canon, I'm like, okay,
After
anything can
Canon,
happen.
after Canon, the chances of getting, like, an Air update shot up from, like, 0 to 90%. Like,
Yes.
like, the years would also line up. Like, Canon, I'm pretty sure released like 1 year before Air. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Air was like 2000. So like Canon was 20th anniversary this year. Next year Air or 25th anniversary. God, oh my God, time's going by so fast. Time's going by so
Yeah.
fast. Yeah, Canon is
Uh,
like 25 years old last year. It'll airs next year too. So it is just a matter of time. I feel like heck.
and and we all thought canon was like the impossible one.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So it's like, well,
Air is much less impossible.
yeah, like if Canon can do it, Air definitely can. There's no reason not to, and I hope that once that does happen, we can do like an Air book club. I have really been
It will
wanting to reread
definitely
Air.
happen.
It'll
Like I
definitely
think
happen, and I can't wait for it because, uh, I like me and you like are both Minagi defenders. Like this
yeah.
is something I don't feel like I talk about enough, but I like Minagi a lot. Uh, I'm really excited to eventually trying out Air again because I really like summer visual novels, and yeah, Minagi needs a lot more love. I just
Yes.
I fully agree with that. Like, man,
So
getting
yeah, that's we've got so yeah, just on my side, we've got two very
mm,
different cases of a divisive character
mhm,
and one who is well liked, but it's just kind of not
forgotten,
very focused on.
forgotten to the wayside. Yeah, I can definitely respect that. Oh gosh. Here's the conundrum is that I have another character I'm thinking of doing, but in case I also have a big suspicion that you might also be considering them. So I'm gonna do the safe option and I'm gonna go completely the opposite direction that I did last time. So last time I went to like the depths and history of Key. This time I'm gonna rep a very, very new heroine. Here, I'll be talking about Prima Doll, and the character I think I'll be boasting is Hokiboshi. So the newest uh, kinetic novel heroine of the Yumemi reference. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
MP
there
loves
was
robot
an
girls.
episode talking about that I dropped in for.
Yeah. There was technically a Mume Tenrei episode that was God, I don't even remember when that was. Like that, this year kind of just flew by really fast. But I'm pretty sure that was like the beginning of the year. Mume Tenrei was like one of the newer additions to the Prima Doll like the kinetic novel series that they're doing, and I hope they're still doing it because it would really be a big shame to get 2 visual novels in and just stop when they promised all 4. But either way, um, I like even without that, I think Hokiboshi is like a really good character. Like in the anime, she had like one of my favorite episodes in the anime, and I won't get into any spoilers, obviously, but she has probably like one of the most classic, like key stories for like the Prima Doll cast because the Prima Doll cast they all have their own like aspects of them that makes them very very key. But Hokiboshi feels like they took like parts of Yumemi and parts of like other robot girls and just like put their own spin on it in the setting of Prima Doll, and it worked surprisingly well. Like Hokiboshi, I feel like is a very like interesting character because I've discussed this previously in Prima Doll when we talked about robot girls, but essentially there are 2 different types of robot girls. There's the emotional robot and there's the emotionless robot. And Hokiboshi basically takes the role of Yumemi, but instead of having the emotionless robot like Yumemi, she's actually the emotional robot. So she's more human than a robot, and her being a robot is more served to her purpose in the world rather than her actual character. Like as you could make her a human and she would feel like a human being. That's how Hokiboshi
That
ticks.
is interesting because, like, a huge part of Yumebi's character, at least to me, is how artificial she is, no matter how
Mm-hmm.
charming she is.
Yeah, and that was a thing that made Yumemi one of a kind, like back in the day for anime robot girls, because the
Yeah, even I
emotional,
thought it was,
yeah,
like, fascinating how convincingly fake she felt.
yeah, because that was like a in robot girl history, that was a huge shift in how a lot of anime people liked robot girls, and of course here MB goes again talking about the history of robot girls, because back in the day, like when characters in the like especially in the 90s, when you got a robot anime character, it was like Multi or Mahoro from Mahomatic.
I knew Multi was gonna get mentioned.
Yeah, Multi could, like, when you talk about visual novel robot girls, you cannot not mention Multi. She was the pioneer, and the reason she was so big was because she was an emotional robot girl. Like, her entire point in the story is that her value comes from her. Despite being a robot, she has a sense of humanity, and that was like what a lot of characters who were robots back in the day were like took part of. That is having these tropes of like being emotional and the value of having these emotions. They're very based in a lot of early robot girl shows that you'll see, and while there are like some like the kudere type of characters that show the more emotionless robot girl, I think there's one called Key the Metal Idol. I actually haven't watched that one. I do need to do my research on that one eventually. One of the biggest shifts, especially with the visual novel robot girls, was Yumemi Hoshino, because Yumemi Hoshino was the first time where we got a robot girl that was truly and strictly following the robot like laws. Like, you got the laws of robotics. She specifically felt like a robot, and there was a huge shift after that for a lot of like robot girl visual novels, which you'd see in a lot of visual novels in the future that also tackle the same topics, like the 3 laws of robotics that basically became huge in visual novels because of Planetarian. So that was a huge thing that happened that had a lot of ripples through the case. But Hokiboshi, she's similar to Yumemi in her role, in that she's like a companion and also like a kind character, but she has a sense of humanity. Despite that, she's arguably more human feeling than most of the characters in Prima Doll, especially when it comes to her kinetic novel Mume Tenrei. There's like a huge contrast to her, where despite being a robot, she feels like the most human of the entire cast, which is something I really liked about Mume Tenrei, because Mume Tenrei was a story that I felt like I was heavily focusing on what truly makes like a human and the importance of emotion. In a way, it was very similar to Harmonia, but I would say Mume Tenrei was more effective in its way of telling that, and I attribute a lot of that to Hokiboshi and Hokiboshi's character, which is like without question, like I would say it's one of the most underrated key heroines. She's not gonna win any top 10s, I would say. Like, she's not that like super high on the list, but her character is essential to her story, and I think is one that deserves a lot more attention, because if you like Key and if you like a lot of the other robot girls, she's very interesting in how she takes the same concept but goes by it in a completely different way. And I think it is something that Prima Doll really excels in general. It's just Hokiboshi is my favorite example of that, and like all of Hokiboshi's stories, she's never the focus of Prima Doll, but when she is, like her kinetic novel and her episode in the anime, it's always some of my favorite content of Prima Doll. So there goes my other recommendation. Of course, it's a robot girl, and of course, it's a star-based robot girl. Hokiboshi is a Yumemi reference, but at the same time, while she has similarities to Yumemi, she is very much her own take and her own character, and I think she shines a lot because of that. Pun not intended.
I see. I can't. I have not experienced Prima Doll, so unfortunately, I can't.
One day, I hope once all the kinetic novels are available, we'll get a translation all in one go. Right, Key?
I hope so. But that
right,
is
Key.
that was also not a choice I was expecting. So this has been an episode full of surprises.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just on you for like coming up with a really good idea, because having to like basically pick for the underdog means that we're gonna pick our quote-unquote less known options. So that's good. I also like how this is going.
Yeah, I'm happy with this so far, but what I'm not quite happy about is I'm not quite decided on my third one yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
just to stall for a bit, let's
Okay.
pick like one or two honorable mentions. Like
Mm-hmm.
not dramatic enough that we would choose them over like our last choices, but just characters you would like to see get a bit more attention than they currently do. Characters who feel a bit overshadowed.
Definitely, that's fair. I have two choices that immediately pops in the head, and they both share a name. Mio. Both of them.
uh
Like you mentioned Mio earlier with Little Busters, and that she gets a bit less attention than the others. I really like Mio. Like if the last podcast with both of us has made that obvious, we are
yes.
both like super big Mio fans.
Yes, we both love. Yeah, I was like seriously considering her for like my little Buster's choice, but I
So
couldn't
close.
justify it over Hanata.
Yeah,
She is just
yeah.
like the perfect honorable mention for this. Like nobody hates her. She's well liked, but she's not mentioned as much, and I
He's
think that's
not
a
mentioned
shame.
as much, which is a shame because I especially think that Mio has like one of the best stories, and I told you about how much I've gone like on her route. I've changed my opinion so much on her route. Like
Oh yeah, and you probably remember well just how like hard it hit me personally.
it is a really strong route, and it bleeds so much early key, especially with its one like references and direct parallels. It just feels right, like for
It's
Mio
a
to be a
very
home.
like special little Buster's route in that like it's not it doesn't quite appeal to people the same way most of the other routes do. But if it does like speak to you, it speaks loud and hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just it's very special. Mio is a gift.
She is, and I just realized that I have despite like muting myself coughing in despite muting myself coughing in the voice chat, that's not going to affect the recording because I'm the guy recording this time. So oops. That's just gonna be a thing in this bloopers recording. So thank God this is not being published officially.
As far as we know.
As far as we know today, we don't know if that's gonna stay forever, but
Lucci might slap it on the Keyverse channel as like one last parting
we
gift.
might. I don't know, but we can see. Yeah, I agree with that. And anyways, back to meals. The other one as well. I feel like it's just super underrated, and I think I can kind of get why. Is that with one you have such extreme stories. Meals is by far the most safe. Like she's just a very like wholesome, cute Galgaroot, but I also think like she is just so comfy and so like adorable that one thing I feel like she like that does not get mentioned enough is that her and Kohei's relationship is actually one for once bloody healthy.
Yes, absolutely. She is a ray of sunshine.
Like even with Kohei's complete negativity and extremely destructive tendencies, with how he treats Mio, he's like, wow, you guys actually have a pretty good thing going. And I think that says a lot when we're talking about Kohei, because Kohei is just he's a piece of work.
The worst thing he ever does is like tease her a bit harmlessly.
Exactly, and I feel like that's
It makes
also
her cry, but that's just because she's very emotional.
she's a very wholesome little girl, and I feel like a part of that reason is also because like the whole childhood friend thing is one thing, but at the same time there's also like potentially a factor that as the senpai, Kohei actually has to act a bit more responsible, although that argument completely falls apart when we take Maya into account. That's another deal entirely. But the whole thing is that some of the most wholesome like romance and standard Galgaze parts of one is from base Mio, and I just enjoy that part of her. Like her story is just really cute and wholesome, and some of those last CGs in the Mio route is like the most
Aw,
heartwarming content ever. Like that's so adorable.
I agree. She is a very good example of just how like good Hisaya was at just writing very charming characters.
Yeah, she's just really likable. Perfect honorable mention, I would say.
As for my honorable mentions, I'll start off with one that's probably not even controversial at all. Yukine.
Yukine.
I don't have
Yeah.
any big speech here. I'm just gonna say I love her. I think more people need to love her even more.
That's very fair. That's very
The
fair.
most huggable key heroine I've seen. And her route is just like just fantastic in a special kind of way.
Yeah, here's the thing with Yukine is that he I almost wonder like the timeline because one of the big things that happened during Planet's development is that she was actually demoted from a main heroine to a sub-heroine because I
Yes.
guess they didn't know what to do with her route. And that's also why I guess she had a relatively more plainer route than the other heroines in Clannad. Like her route is very simple in its
Like,
concept,
it's
execution, and
very
style.
obvious, like, she's different from the other side characters.
Yeah,
She has her
yeah.
own theme. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
I also think so. And but at the same time, it's like I almost wonder like what if the timeline if they did figure out like the best part about Yukine's character and they figure out a whole story that they could just dedicate a full entire route to her, and I sometimes do wonder about that one timeline.
I wonder about it a lot, but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily take it over the one we have now, because like
That's very
that's
fair.
part of what makes Yukine's route special. It doesn't have drama. It's like it's still decently long considering how many common route scenes she has. Like, you're not lacking for content for her. It's just like not as long as a full one, but what it is just fantastic in its own right. It's a very sweet story that is very, very well. What's the word? It conveys the theme, like the big themes, or at least some of them, the big themes of Clannad very well.
Yeah, I agree. That's very fair.
And she's just, again, Yukine is just a fantastic heroine. She is so sweet and huggable, but also just. And it's just that sincerity that makes her so nice. Like, she doesn't have, like, nasty depths. It's just a
Yeah.
story about this one really generous girl and the way she manages to get people to just come together.
Calm down a bit. Yeah, I agree. Full transparency, I was actually originally planning on talking about her for the last one, but it's fine. It's fine. I can figure out another one.
uh,
In fact, I think I have. So I think I should be good.
well, as for my other honorable mention, I am going to say Shiori.
Yeah.
And she doesn't feel like someone who needs an honorable mention because she has a big fan base.
It
Like,
does, yeah.
I'd say she's probably in the top 3, like, most popular canon heroines, at least.
Yeah, no, she's definitely top 30. Like, honestly, I would argue she's like possibly top 2. I see more Shiori love than I do see like Ayu love, which is interesting, at least
Yeah,
on
like,
my end. But
IU is, like, an easy one for a lot of people, but, like, putting her against Nayuki or Mai is, like... I think especially, like, among the visual novel, I think Shiori could edge them out.
she's a very comfy character and surprisingly deep. She's very, very like she's very early like Hisaya, like just the way
Yes.
that she has that secret part of her, and you just slowly get to open her up and figure out how she takes. And oh god, the darkness in this girl's deep. She's kind of like she's a lot like Misaki in a way, where there's just like you
Yes,
see
I
this
thought that.
smiling girl.
She's Misaki, but less of a lady.
Yeah, she's a cuter Misaki.
They even have, like,
More
about the same
moe, I
sense of
guess,
humor.
is the better word.
And they have, like, the same great sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, this is just one of those like very Hisaya characters, and this is completely off topic and like in a completely different stratosphere, but she's almost like Matsuri from Sola in a way that's kind of like you have this very cheerful character. For if you don't know, Sola is an anime written by Hisaya,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember.
yeah, I like Sola because one of the main heroine is designed by the same character designer who designed my girl Yuko Amamiya. So yeah,
Oh,
gotta get the Matsuri
I
mention
I
in as
remember
well.
at least one very pretty design from Sola, so I can see that.
It's probably Matsuri. Her name's Matsuri, but yeah, Matsuri is like she is one of those characters that's like she's super cheerful and super playful and
Yeah, that
has like
is
a sense of
Matsuri.
like teasingness to her, but when the story gets serious, like she gets serious, and that like sort of like flip is something that's like natural, but it's just something I really associate with Hisaya as having heroines with hidden sides, and I mean that's something you can see with a lot of Key in general. It's something that's kind of bled into the whole Nakige formula with the whole happy first meeting and just more emotional second half. It's something that really fits a lot of the formula that we now associate with Nakige. It's the key formula.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
I
it. Oh no, you go
no,
ahead.
yeah, I just think like Shiori is just like a really good example of that, and a more known version of Misaki that really helped influence a lot of heroines after her, especially with like Kainen. The big thing with Kainen was just the moe factors. Like she's basically just like Misaki, but you put a bit more Nagamori in her to make her a bit cuter, and that's Shiori.
Yeah. So like it's easy to say she doesn't need that boost of popularity, but the reason I'm making her the honorable mention is actually like based off my experience when I first
Mm-hmm.
watched the canon anime.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched it, I didn't really think anything of her. Like
You
I
mean the
did not
2006 one
see
or the 2002 one?
2006 the
Okay.
KyoAni. I
Mm-hmm.
just did not see where she fit like into the story. I didn't see why she was there. And like it just made her kind of forgettable to me, especially I mean, I don't want to say because of spoilers, but her story did not feel fresh like within
Mm-hmm.
the work as a whole.
I do
Like
agree that in 2006, out of all the routes, Shiori's took the biggest hit, and that was just because it's hard to adapt the story that Shiori wrote was going through in a linear format.
yeah, also just like it has some parts I like better than the visual novel version,
Mm-hmm.
but like pacing wise, like where it's placed and stuff, like it's if you're not like immediately into her, it can kind of take a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when she was actually my least favorite of the heroines when I first watched it, then
Mm.
I rewatched it and I had a better grasp on the characters and I paid more attention and I realized she was really really good and
Yeah.
I had done a bunch of thinking on the story and I saw where she fit in thematically,
Mm.
which I'm going to have a lot to say about that in the canon book club.
Oh,
But
that's gonna be our first real one. I can't wait for it. I
I
really need to
I
get that
can't
canon
either.
reread. I
I'm
really
very
need to get that
excited.
canon reread in me. It's been too long.
I've needed to give it one like just like a normal read through, not messed up by work,
God,
making
I
it
feel
into
that.
work. Making it into work is what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like just like for the theoretical people who had that same kind of like initial impression of her, that's kind of why I'd make her the honorable mention. Like if you didn't quite see like where she fit in at first, do go just give her story another watch or read.
Mm, that's fair. I definitely can. I would agree with that definitely a lot. She's a very wholesome heroine. Anyways, I think we stalled enough.
Yeah.
What is the big last one that we've had to ponder a long time on each?
For me, I am at, it's appropriate we mentioned her a lot when we were just
Mhm.
talking there. I am actually going to pick Misaki.
Of course, we're both big one
So,
fans.
and this is for the specific reason of I think her having more exposure would just lead people to one like more. She is like
Mm,
easily the most popular one heroine. Like she
she's the
is
easiest to market for sure. Yeah, like
everyone loves her.
she
But
she is the one that a lot of people gravitate to, especially if they're like fans of like typical Key. I do notice that a lot. Misaki is without question the most popular one heroine,
I mean,
and
she's even my favorite. I don't promote her nearly as
mhm.
much as you know who, but
I mean,
she's just easy, the easy
she
pick.
she is a very just like consistently good heroine. And one thing that I really like about Misaki that is I feel like is universally agreed to be handled well, is her blindness. Like,
Yes.
that's something huge that's essential to a character, yet it's so easy to forget that at times because Misaki is just handles it so well. Everything about like how she's handled, like she's written, she's so casual to be around, so likable that it is so easy to forget that she's a blind heroine. In fact, even Kohei kind of forgets at one point. But then it just like you remember, oh right, yeah, she can't see. And then you have those scenes with her where it's like really difficult for her to just do what other people think is normal, like walk out of school. Like, yeah, that is just a thing that she has, and it's just it raises awareness for like a very important like issue a lot of people face, and it's something I have always respected One for. It's always half of its cast is disabled, half of its cast is disabled. It's not afraid to share that and have
Yeah, what I
heroines to be
love
like that.
is what I love about Misaki especially is that like she's strong, but that doesn't mean her condition doesn't cause her issues. She's allowed to be strong and weak in different ways. And it just creates a very compelling character.
Yeah.
So like she doesn't need to be more popular within like the fandom one already has. But I think if she got like a real signal boost and drew more people in, like we'd have a lot more one fans just because her route is fantastic. Like genuinely, you could just read her route and like come out of one with a pretty great experience.
Throw in Akane's too, at least. Come on,
I
gotta
mean,
give my girl a
yes,
bit of
but I'm
credit.
saying
I know what you mean. I do agree with that,
yeah,
and
considering not everyone's gonna love going through, all of them in
Rain.
one.
Yeah, that's fair. That I definitely agree with that. Like Misaki is definitely one of the peaks of one. Like I feel like universally she is like the most loved heroine route and heroine. Period. Like Akane has her diehard fans. I am the diehard fan. She also
And
has like Spiral and Lucy who adore her.
and
But
Nanase is pretty up there too, at least
Nanase
now.
has gotten a massive popularity boost thanks to the remake. It cannot be understated. How much more popular? Like, she shot up the ranking tier list for so many people when the remake dropped. And I gotta admit, I feel like half of it is just because most of us aren't introduced to her with the most worst CG of all time anymore.
Yeah, I at least
She
a
look.
quarter of it is also her design.
That was what I was saying. Is like I was joking. But I was like, but man, her new art and her new presentation makes her so expressive and so full of life, and especially her actress as well. They all do such a perfect job at like making Nanase infinitely more charming than she already was. And like
Yeah.
you were already a big fan of Nanase,
Yeah.
and after the remake, you
Yes.
got a bunch of allies. So
Yes, I was one of the OGs.
yeah, Scout's the realest Nanase fan. Like none of us can compare.
She may not be like my favorite, but she is the one I'll push the most.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, honestly, I know when we talked about her route back in book club, I brought up a very like interesting interpretation towards the ending parts of it.
Which is
I honestly like
amazing.
assuming you've like changed opinion in anything concerning one, like either before or after the book club, we could almost do like a follow-up episode just like discussing how like our views on it or theories or stuff have changed since then.
I
Because
mean,
honestly,
yeah,
I've changed actually in quite a few ways. Like
that's very
with
interesting.
Mayo.
We could talk more about Nanase at a later time. I'd be interested to hear about that. I mean, on my end, I have talked so much about one that I've pretty much solidified all my views on it, but I'm always open to hearing more opinions on it. And I like that you've brought so much light to Nanase. She classic you pick Misaki, but we eventually switched
Yeah.
to talking about Nanase. But yeah,
Yes.
I like the fact that one is now included in so much more discussion, and I'm always open to hearing people's opinions on it.
Yeah, I love it. And just it's a classic. I will always say it's a classic, and more just Misaki just in general is a
Mm-hmm.
great demonstration of why I think it's a classic. Like
Mm-hmm.
just so very ahead of her time in a lot of ways. Still
Mm-hmm.
holds up as a great heroine even, oh god, 25 years later.
Oh, I feel like a dinosaur. Oh
I mean,
god,
I'm about as old as it, so
I'm gonna be reaching there soon. I don't want to think about it. Anyways, yeah,
yeah,
God,
that's my third pick.
an
The signal
excellent
was
third
for
one.
Misaki, not for her sake, but for one's sake.
I can always support a bit more love for one in this house. All right, I guess it's my turn for the third pick, and I think I'm gonna surprise. Like at least Lucy's gonna be extremely surprised when I say this, because I don't think anyone's gonna expect the fact that I'll be representing Chihaya from Rewrite for my last pick. That's right, Lucy.
Whoa.
I'm picking a fucking Rewrite heroine for
A
for a
rewrite
character
heroine
that
who isn't Kaguri.
who isn't Kagura. That's also correct. I
I,
mean,
I I wondered if she was going to be mentioned because, like, we've never talked about her, obviously, but I've seen from your channel you really like her.
I love Kaguri, do not get me wrong. Like, I think Kaguri is without question my favorite character in Rewrite by a country mile. However, I would say in regards to Rewrite fans, she's already popular. You know who isn't popular? Chihaya, because like this girl, Chihaya Otori, has. You haven't read Rewrite, so you don't know this, but she has been the
I
butt
know
of
I like her
memes.
design a lot.
She has a very good design, and she has been the butt of memes, and I I I won't stand for it. And this is a big thing that's been a huge character arc. So, Scout, you haven't been here for very long compared to like the general history of Keyverse. I don't think you realize just how much spite I had for Rewrite between these days.
I've heard mumblings about it. I've heard you get loud about it a few times.
I was not Rewrite's target audience, and it wasn't even a case of like me thinking like Rewrite was gonna be like regular key. I went into it knowing that it was gonna be trying something new. I just personally didn't enjoy it very much in spite of that, and it feels at times that Rewrite is going against what I dislike about, or it goes against what I look for in a story, which is like a focus on characters and enjoyability over like specific things that I can't really mention because of spoiler reasons. But essentially, Rewrite in really just Romeo Tanaka in general is not something that vibes very well with me when it comes to the story. Or initially, like I was part of the crew was like, well, I like one heroine of Rewrite before Kaguri, and her name is Lucia, who is one of like as detached as you can get from any of the other Rewrite cast, and has the least to do with the main story. But man, that one damn reread changed so many views on things, and the main thing that changed was my view on Chihaya Otori. I don't know why I keep saying her name in its entirety, but that's just the truth. I did not expect to like her out, and I didn't expect to like her either. But upon reread, I discovered that I feel like Chihaya is like, again, I can't really get too deep into spoilers. It's probably best you listen to my book club. Actually, did I even
I was gonna
debut on the
ask,
book
was it
club on
during rewrite book club that
It
all this
was
change
during Rewrite
happened?
Book Club where I did my reread. I forget if I was on the Chihaya podcast or not. I was definitely in the comments at least. But I have had a massive shift in Chihaya's route after rereading Rewrite because I felt like here's the biggest issue. And this is something that has become so apparent to me upon reread is that I liked Chihaya herself is not the problem. The problem is the fact that her route is known for being the Sakya route more than the Chihaya route. And if you know anything about MP's taste in Rewrite, you would know that Sakya is my least favorite character in the visual novel.
Oh.
So that, I realized, overshadowed my actual view on Chihaya herself because when I did my first read, I was too busy being angry at Sakuya to appreciate Chihaya. So, after calming down a bit over the years and giving it a second read, I realized that Chihaya was essentially what I was looking for in Rewrite without it like going against Rewrite. Like, she is the closest thing I have to the character I relate to, and the characters whose feelings I felt like represented my own. And upon that realization, I changed my view on her a lot. Like, I grown a lot to appreciate this character, and her route was insane. Like it genuinely, like I went from like a 4 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 in my head. Like it was like, wow, this is an entirely different experience with a bit more context. Just getting to have this heroine that not only has a healthy relationship with the main hero, like the main protagonist of Rewrite, but also reflects my own feelings and how I see it. So of course, it's because of this, it's not actually written by the quote-unquote main writer of Rewrite, it's written by Tonokawa Yuto. Excuse me. But having her, like, this reevaluation made me appreciate her a lot. And I mentioned this earlier, but Chihaya gets the short end of the stick so many times. She's always called the forgotten heroine, the heroine that like got her route replaced by the Sakya route, and so many people criticize her route. Like I think out of the common route or like the Rewrite character routes, the ones that get the most hate is either Lucia route or Chihaya route, and those also happen to be the ones I like the most by a country mile. So that's a classic thing. But I don't know. I just can't stand the Chihaya hate anymore. I am on her side. I like her feelings, and I like the way that the story tackled her character. I do agree that she's a bit overshadowed by Sakuya. That's why I didn't like her route in the beginning, because I was too busy being angry at Sakuya. But he's not the star of the route, in my opinion. It's Chihaya and her mentality, her way of thinking, her way of finding friendship and Kotaro and relationship that's like healthier than most of the relationships in the entire story. Completely honest and genuine character who wants to have friends and connect with these people regardless of what side they're on and what kind of mentalities they have, what kind of beef they have. She's not concerned about the bigger picture. She cares about herself and she cares about the people around her. And I, for one, respect the heck out of that. So, next time we talk about Rewrite, I might be a bigger Kagari fan, but I better not be seeing anyone slandering my girl Chihaya as well, because she's super underrated in my opinion, and I think she deserves a lot more love, and a lot more reevaluation.
You've got me even more excited for her now.
Like, her route is one with problems, I acknowledge that. It's just, man, reevaluating all of her story, especially with knowing my issues with Rewrite, really made me realize how much I missed out on her character the first time, because I was just too busy being angry.
But what you're saying is we can potentially do like episodes on rewrite without you just being angry the entire time.
Yeah, nah.
I got
maybe if
baited.
we talk about the moon route, yeah, moon route and Chihaya route. But even then, Chihaya route has a big red button called Sakya that may may prevent that. But we'll see.
Yeah, guess I got my hopes up a bit too high there.
I'm sure you'll be more accepting of it than I am, and then we can have a
Well,
more
we'll
healthier
see.
debate.
Like, I mean, I figure I gotta do it. Like in 2025, I was planning on it anyway.
I believe in you, brother.
We'll just see what happens.
We will. Anyways, yeah, God, that was an hour.
I thought we'd get like half an hour out of that episode.
That was an hour. That's horrifying. But hey, at least this proves that this worked, and
Yeah.
that's us having picks for the most underrated key girls ever, with the occasional MP COVID cough. That's not actually a COVID cough. It's just it doesn't leave me. I hate it so much.
I mean, at least it's not the worst thing. I'm
It's
glad
not the
about
worst
that
thing.
at least.
Anyway,
Yeah, if you guys ever hear this, consider this the unofficial start to season 5, maybe.
Season 5, if it happens, it'll be after the book club anyway. We have to worry about the book club, but yeah. Hopefully all the recording stuff is not damaged, and if it is, I'm sure Lucy will let us know.
If it is, I'm going to be very sad. We got so much more out of that than I thought we would.
Yeah, I mean, we can always delve deeper into this with a proper season 5 down the line if we
But
flesh
it
out the
won't be
idea
the
more.
same as like catching you by surprise.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm sure the introduction is recorded properly, anyways. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight. So I think we can close up the first episode of Key Radio Live,
Yep.
off screen. Key Radio
Episode
offline.
0.
Sorry.
Episode 0.
This is our episode 0. This is our first new entry, and hopefully it'll be one of many. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all when we do Canon Book Club, which will probably get an announcement around next week.
Yeah.
I'm only saying this because I have no idea what I'm doing.
We're figuring it out, don't worry.
We're figuring it out. Anyways, yeah, it's been a fun night, and thank you to Scout for coming on with me and testing this equipment.
Of course.
Alright, in that case, I'll see you all next time on Key Radio Offline. Hopefully it'll be live next time.
See you guys.